This is one of the Masses that the rubric, the directions of how to celebrate this Mass, says the homily should be brief, which is always kind of troublesome for a priest. And it even says that if the priest so decides, that he doesn't even need to preach. But I do want to try, keyword in this is try to give a quick homily. Because there is a lot packed in this story. And I think the thing that hit me the hardest, and I don't like admitting it, but I'll just be frank with you, is that I see myself as Judas, I see myself as Peter, I see myself as Pilate, I see myself as the crowd, I see myself as the thieves. How often in this life do I get upset with God because I don't get what I want? God, I've done the prayers, I've done the novenas, I've gone to the Masses, I've fasted, I've done everything I can, and it had to be on your end and you failed me. That's when I become Judas. That I am only coming to you because I want something. You have set something up in a way that I think that I deserve you to act. And then when I don't get my way, I throw a tantrum. I don't mean to judge Judas, but that's what we see, is that Christ did not become the man he had hoped for. The thing is that I need to be purified again and again when I encounter God. Because I come with my ideas, I come with my hopes, I come with my dreams. And then when it doesn't go according to my will, it's so easy to point the finger and know, God, it's your fault. We saw that last week with Martha and Mary, but they had a different approach. Jesus, if you had been here, our brother would have lived. Not you should have been here, you needed to be here, but we know that if you would have been here, things would have been different. But too often, I think that my will is the only will. Then Pilate. He knows what the right thing is to do, but he's afraid. He's a coward because he's reminded that you work for the Romans, and this man is saying that he's a king. So if you agree with him, then you are fighting against Caesar. So how often do I want to take the easy road because I don't want to sacrifice my image, or I don't want to sacrifice my ideas, or I don't want to sacrifice my reputation? Because I don't know what God's going to do with that sacrifice. That, yes, I know that he raised from the dead, but how often do I tell myself that, no, he can't do that, he can't deal with this? All too often. And then Peter. Peter, who is so gung-ho that, Jesus, I'm going to follow you, I'm going to do everything that you demand, I'll die with you, I'll even take out a sword and cut off a soldier's ear. We know that he wasn't named in this gospel, but John names him in his gospel. But then he fails when a little maid asks, hey, you're with Jesus of Nazareth. You have the same accent. It gives you away. And he's like, don't know the man. How often, even as a monk and a priest, do I sometimes want to distance myself from being connected to Christ? Because the world tells us that following Jesus doesn't make sense. That being a disciple, being one that wants to share the gospel, is too hard, too complicated, not what we are made for. We're made for pleasure, we're made for what we want, and we're made for what we want now. That's what the world tells us. Whereas Christ tells us, pick up your cross and follow me daily. That doesn't sound attractive at times. That sounds frightening. But that's how I'm like Peter, that I could be, yes, let's do this is awesome, this is amazing, and then immediately I get cold feet. Because God, you brought me this so far, but I don't believe you could bring me any further. And then the crowd, that they mock Christ. Oh, this is the one that said that he could rebuild the temple. This is the one that said he would, rise on the third day. But he can't even get himself off the cross. What kind of man is that? Prove yourself, God. Do it. I want to see it. I want to be able to believe, so I need you to perform a miracle now. How many times have I done that prayer? That God, I will believe you if this event happens. And then the two thieves on the sides, mocking him as they're in the same situation. Now, we know that the one thief eventually comes around. Okay, he eventually sees the light. And as soon-to-be Blessed Fulton Sheen will say, that the first person in heaven stole it. Okay, it's a beautiful thing to reflect on. So yes, the thing is that I can relate to Judas. I can relate to Peter. I can relate to Pilate. I can relate to the crowd. I can relate to everybody that wants to deny Christ. Am I proud of it? No. But it's so easy to do. The thing I will suggest for you is that we're entering Holy Week. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we will have our ordinary Mass times. Thursday will be Holy Thursday. We will read about the Last Supper and see feet being washed, okay? The mandatum, what Christ commands us to do for others. And then Good Friday. We will hear the Passion again, according to St. John. What I would suggest is read the Passion of Matthew again, but then read the Passion of John. Because the thing is that I see myself in these sinners, okay? Because no surprise, I myself am a sinner, okay? Hate to break it to you. But I don't want that. I want to be able to be at the foot of the cross, to be with the Blessed Mother who doesn't utter a word, but looks upon her Son as he is pierced, hand, feet, and eventually side, and is able to just contemplate and love her Son, and even love us who have all held the hammer and nails, have taken the lance and pierced his side, and she still loves us. To be St. John, the beloved disciple, that the night before rested his head on the chest of Christ and could hear and feel that Sacred Heart pumping, that loves us so much and that will be pierced for me. Blood and water pouring out freely, that I could be washed of my sins and so that I can receive Christ's body, blood, soul, and divinity from any altar I celebrate Mass on. That yes, I want to be the good thief. Yes, I want to be Joseph of Arimathea. Yes, I want to be able to be Simon of Cyrene and not have any worries or doubts, but be able to take the cross of Christ and carry it for him. The thing is that I do not just need to relate to the sinners, but they're the ones that I can easily relate to. But I want to be able to be there with Christ. On my last day, on my judgment, I want to be able to look at him face to face. And I do not know if he will appear to me as with the scourge marks and the crown and the piercings and show me what he went through for my redemption, or if it will be complete and total glory. I don't know. But that sacred face that was spat upon, slapped, had a helmet of thorns pushed into it. I want to be able to look at it. I want to be able to say thank you. I want to be able to say I'm sorry. I want to be able to say thank you for dealing with the nonsense that I have thrown at you. The times I denied you, the times that I have given up on you, but you never gave up on me. Thank you, and I'm sorry. Help me to have gratitude now. Help me to be grateful for what you have given me, because I have so much. And it's not something that I've given myself, but it's pure gift, pure grace given to God, to all of us. So again, I'm trying to give a quick homily. But the thing is that if you can relate to the sinners, you are also called to relate to the saints. That Christ has not given up on any person here right now. I'll point out to the altar servers as well. All of you here are called to be loved by God, to be known by God. And I think sometimes we forget that. And that's when I become Judas. That's when I become Peter. That's when I become Pilate. But if all of us can understand the love that God has for us, we too, with His grace, His mercy, His love, can be saints. And God willing, one day be able to look at Him face to face.